Hello, my friends, and welcome back to another episode of Cafefe with Carlito, episode number 83. And I'm going to suspend all of my, wow, can you believe how long it's been kind of stuff, because I feel like I do that every time. And frankly, I'm tired of saying it. So we're not going to talk about that. But I do actually have something that I want to sort of speak to you about and get your opinion, because I am having a hard time sort of understanding and parsing it out for myself. And that is, what's more important, the originality of something, like the first person to do it, right? So the novelty, or somebody who does it best? It's a tricky one. So what made me think of it was, trust the original, right? I remember seeing that. I can't remember who it was. Was it Whites or somebody? I don't remember exactly, but, trust the original. All right, you're the originator. There's something to that, because let's think about it, right? To actually invent something, to be the first person to do something, needs to be respected. That's pretty amazing. Like, if you're the first Pacific Northwest boot maker, if you're the first trumpet player, if you're whatever that you've done, the first of, that deserves respect without a doubt. But when it comes to music, and I was having a conversation with a coworker of mine about this, and that's what sort of spurred the idea of speaking about it here. If you are talking about music, okay, and this is what we were talking about, because the song Turn the Page came on the radio, and I said, I think Metallica did this song better. And he agreed, and we both said, yeah, but you know what, that first song, the original was great too. I said, to me, that song just needed a little bit more power. It needed that drive that Metallica gave it on Garage Incorporated. I thought it was a great example and a way to pay homage to something while simultaneously paying respect to it and making it your own. Does that make any sense? So when it comes to music, it's great to be able to look back and say, yeah, that was the original. How about Led Zeppelin? There's a famous band known for taking old blues riffs and repurposing them for their own and having tremendous commercial success on those songs. Does that mean that, because they were the one who made it that way, right? Like they took the idea and maybe even ripped off the riff, or the song verbatim, but they made it what it is and it became a hit. And so both those things kind of need a certain amount of respect, I think. And it's like, just because you're the original doesn't mean that you're the best either. So the first guy to really popularize two bass drums, right? Louis Bellson. Now, people had done it before, but he's the guy that most people think of as the godfather of double bass, right? And back then, they had the Ludwig Speed, what the heck was it? The Speed King, that's what it was. I had one, squeaky little pedal. Anyway, the bass drum pedals were not what they are nowadays. The drums weren't what they are nowadays, but he was the first person to put two bass drums side by side and start doing, 16th notes or whatever with them. And that was the first time anybody had really seen that. And now in the modern day, we have people who do incredible thing, like Thomas Hake from Meshuggah. That guy he's like a clock. It's just unreal. Speaking of the atomic clock, what about Gene Hoglan, right? He played with Fear Factory. He played with a lot of different bands. My favorite work of his was with Strapping Young Lad. But anyway, all that to say, the originator was there, and thank God he was, because he built the platform for other people to go forward and do stuff. Look at what I'm doing here, right? I'm not the originator of making, for sure, not YouTube videos, but not even in the world of this style. And I was early, but I was not the first. I'm not sure I could say who the first was, but I will say that before what I did, I used to watch Aaron Marino and Real Men, Real Style and the Gentleman's Gazette and stuff like that. These older channels that were really about dressing well. And so, I don't want to belabor the point. I don't want to make too much of a meal of it, but it's interesting because they're two different things. The person who originally did it and then the people who maybe perfected it or pushed it forward. And it's all of that stuff needs to be recognized and have a certain degree of respect, I think. It's important. So is it more important to you that this boot is the original Red Wing Christie wedge, because that's the original one that they did, mock toe, or is it better? This is a Truman, not a Red Wing. Is it better that this is a Truman, which is actually better now than Red Wing is? This is a perfect example that I just happen to have on hand. This is an example of taking something that was a Red Wing silhouette, a Red Wing sole, this whole thing, and making it better and bringing it closer to perfection, because maybe they dropped the ball, which Red Wing did. So, you know, I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on it, because I don't have an answer. I personally think, you know, everybody deserves respect, whether you originated something or just pushed it forward or whatever. I don't really like straight up copycats. That's just cheap to me. But, you know, I always hear that phrase, we stand on the shoulders of giants, right? You know, which is kind of like the people who originally did it, you know, and they were there. If they weren't there building that foundation, then you would have never been able to do what you do. And so I think the move is to always push forward and try to innovate, but remember where it all began and sort of pay respect to that. So I think that's the answer. But anyway, we have some good stuff to get into, because a lot of cool stuff has actually come out. And again, these cycles of product are not unintentional. These brands know that the shopping season is like now to the beginning of December. This next month especially is very, very big when it comes to shopping. So you're going to see a lot of great drops. And I have some really good ones for you. The first one, as a matter of fact, it's a twofer. 2 for 1, okay? It's a twofer. But anyway, the first one that I saw was from Bravestar. And I spoke about this last year, I think. But I'm going to talk about it again, because this is a pre-order. So you can get in on it and, you know, make sure you get one so you don't have to worry about them selling out. This comes in 2 different colors. This is the Ironside Wax Sherpa Fleece Jacket. Now, the one I'm looking at right now is Gunship Green, but there's also a lighter, like, tan one. I forgot what color that one is called, but anyway, it's like a tan. And essentially what this is a Type 3 silhouette with Sherpa lining. The nice thing about it, though, as with all Bravestar stuff, is the price. Now, you're getting a Sherpa-lined waxed jacket for $188. That's awesome. That's really, really good. I mean, this beats the snot out of Levi's stuff that you could get. And, you know, so here's the deal. So this is made out of 9-ounce British Millerain wax shell. I believe so it's like an acrylic high pile Sherpa fleece. Look, for this price, you're not going to get mouton. You're not going to get even like real deal shearling. That stuff is expensive. And the other thing that people don't ever talk about with that is when you get something that's synthetic like this, right? That like this Bravestar one, which is just fine, looks the part, and is you know, keeps that cost down. When you're dealing with a natural fabric like leather, like mouton, like shearling, you're going to get pieces of fabric, or pieces of the material rather, that are irregular with bald spots, and you know, so you have to be careful, because you can't just keep cutting out that bolt of fabric or whatever and expect your yields to be the same. They won't be. So with acrylic, it's a lot easier. You can order rolls of this material and it's going to be uniform throughout. So that's also how they keep the cost down. A lot of times what you're paying for with this natural material stuff is the ones that they have to throw away or cut around, or the wasted material per bolt of fabric or whatever, or side of hide. And so this is I don't know, it's just awesome. The other thing about Bravestar is that this is all cut and sewn in the USA. So you have a USA made wax jacket with Sherpa lining for under $200. Why don't you have one already? It's great. The reason I don't have one is I know that this here, the Ironside jacket, which they've offered in denim and stuff like that, is too slim for me. I would love to wear it, but it's just too slim, and it's a sad realization, because you know, I would love to own one of these, but maybe my loss is your gain. There's another one available for you, I suppose. But anyway, that is a great piece right there from Bravestar, kicking ass and keeping that price low. We got to give them credit. They've kept that price low since they started, since my first pair of Bravestars, and their QC is decent. So, you know, you're probably gonna get something really good here, and I hope you do, because that is a killer price for a good looking jacket that would probably cost you double elsewhere. Now, the next one is their Deputy CPO XH Japanese wool flannel in blue check. this is the one that I'm like, yeah, that might make its way into my cart. This one here is $178, so just a little bit less expensive than the jacket. But then again, this is really more of a shirt or a, overshirt or a shacket, whatever you want to call it. Shirt jack, I don't know. But anyway, it says here, our fully lined CPO shirt draws from the well of both military and American Western wear. 2 front flap chest pockets with pleated sleeves reference a classic CPO shirt. And so what we have here is black metal buttons from YKK. And again, like a lot of American made stuff here, except for the wool. The wool is from Bishu, Japan. So that's really interesting. It says here, crafted from heavyweight wool mill in Bishu, Japan, home to over 300 years of wool making tradition and some of the finest mills in the world. They go in, the whole thing, but it's, it looks awesome. Now this is lined, okay? So it is lined in like a 4-ounce diamond quilted type of thing. So it has a little bit more insulation to it than a normal shirt would. So this would be a great, number one, either a layering piece or a standalone jacket. I'm telling you, I'm on the edge of pushing by it right now, because it looks good. We got 100% wool. It's lined. It's clicking a lot of boxes for me. It's still sewn in the USA. Now let's take a look, see if we could find the weight of that wool. That's the one thing I'd be interested in, is to see how thick that wool actually is. Because is it a 10-ounce wool? Is it a 20-ounce wool? I don't know. And it doesn't actually say as I look here. So it just says it's made from 100% wool, which is, I guess, the most important thing of all. And with that lining, whatever. But yeah, this is a great piece. And it looks like it is sold out in small, but all the other sizes are available, again, for pre-order. This is one to watch, though. I think this is one of the nicest things that Bravestar's come out with in a long time. And it really could be like your standalone jacket, your go-to, for $178. Come on, 100% wool, made in the USA for $178. Buy 2 of them. I might as well just call this episode like Shackets or Shackets galore or something, because that's pretty much what we have here. So the next one here is from Freenote cloth. Now Freenote is, I love Freenote cloth. First of all, they're an American-made brand, but also they have this aesthetic that's very cool. It's sort of Western, it's modern, it's California, it's very interesting stuff, and I love what they do. As a matter of fact, one of their jackets that I put on a while ago, I went to a place called Slightly, Alabama when I was in New York one day. I was walking around, it was with Albert, as a matter of fact. So we were just hanging out in the city, and I put on this jacket. It was a denim jacket with shearling lining, and I was like, oh man, I need this. I need this in my life. And I ended up buying it. It was $800. So they have some great stuff. This one here is really interesting, and I love a lot about it. Okay, let's just talk about it first before we can talk about what I love about it. Okay, this is the Freenote cloth Kurthwood in gray herringbone. It's $400, and that's a lot of money. Okay, it's a lot of money, but it is a vintagey garage style jacket that is very classic workwear. It just looks like, it's got that bigger fit to it, which I love. You don't see a lot. You're starting to see more of it now, but when I see something that's cut like this, I go, there's a jacket that I could probably wear and actually move around in. Imagine that. And it's done in that sort of classic 2-pocket zipper, pocket kind of way. Nice short Eisenhower silhouette. It also uses this really beautiful herringbone fabric. Now, this is a 13-ounce rinsed yarn-dyed herringbone from Japan, and that makes it pretty much a midweight jacket by all my estimation. It does have side adjusters on it, which is really cool, and I think these are old. Are they older style? No, they're older style universal zippers, and that's kind of cool. Matter of fact, come to think of it, I think my other one has universal zippers on it as well. It's nice to see something other than YKK. YKK is like the Toyota of the zipper and fastener world. They just work, they're everywhere, they last forever. But every now and then you see a universal or a Talon or a Riri or something like that, and it's just a little bit different. And so anyway, you have that here, but $400, that's pretty much in line with most of Freenote cloth stuff. I remember buying their Mariner jacket several years ago. Probably, if I had to guess, it was probably 5-6 years ago. I bought their Mariner, and not the Mariner Heavy, but the original Mariner. And it was $400 then. So, they're sort of maintaining it. Now, this does look like it's unlined. I'm trying to look for details as I speak to you, but I don't really see anything. I mean, now if this is 13 ounce and it's just single, it's just the fabric itself, it's not such a bad thing. And again, that stripe really does give it a cool old school look. I gotta tell you, I'm really digging this. I'm also really digging those pockets. They have that sort of scalloped scoop look. I love that. It's very double RL kind of old school workwear without the crazy price. So this is another really good one that, again, as I'm looking at it, I can see it in my closet. Stop. I can't spend that kind of money. Stop. All right, here's another one from 316. And I said shackets. That's what we're doing here. This is the Club Jacket Charcoal. And now this is a French word I'm going to try to say. I think it's boucle. Boucle, maybe? B-O-U-C-L-E. I'm not French, but I took 2 years of it in high school. So that's pretty much what you get right there. Thank you, Mrs. Haviland. Anyway, this says here, the Club Jacket has long been offered by 316 in an unlined form, but for fall winter 25, it has been upgraded with a thicker fabric and a lining to serve as a robust winter outerwear choice. Now, this fabric in particular is fuzzy. Okay, the whole idea of this boucle fabric, this is not just something that they do, is it has a fuzzy, very textured look to it, which works really well for trapping warmth. So this could very well be a good outerwear piece, depending on, I don't really know. I mean, it looks like it's thick enough, but how cold does it get near you? I mean, we're talking Florida winters, or are we talking Maine winters? Totally different. So this looks really good. Let's talk a little bit about the shell material here, because it's some good stuff, some bad stuff, okay? 76% wool, love that. 15% nylon, but you know what? A lot of times companies will do that for the specific properties of nylon. It's not a cost-saving measure. And general rule of thumb, at least around here, is if they add synthetics to a product, if it serves a purpose that a natural fabric can't do, I'm okay with it. Like darn tough Vermont socks are not 100% wool, because 100% wool socks suck. They don't hold their shape. They have no elastic to them. And so they've found a good blend. So maybe I'm not so mad at this 15% wool. And then we have 7% alpaca. That's a great fabric, very warm fabric. And because the fibers are hollow, they store a little bit more warm air. So you get slightly more warmth out of an alpaca fiber as you do a wool fiber. And then 2% Angora. The lining is 100% cotton. It is made in India. Made in India. The price for this one, did I say? $430. That gives me pause. I gotta tell you. 316. I mean, I love the piece. It looks really good. I mean, even just in these pictures here, you can see it has a really nice texture. That is some very, and it's a nice combination of materials there, the fabric and stuff like that. And not anything against Indian craftsmanship. Obviously, they can make incredible stuff. But typically, when you see stuff that's made in India, it's not costing over $400. So what am I paying for here? Is it that material? I don't know. I don't really know. And also, check the fit chart of this, because it looks like it runs pretty slim. The XL is pit to pit, 24 inches. So that means a 48-inch chest. I know I mentioned this one as a good one, but I'm starting to wonder though, and the made in India thing kind of has me a little bit, just because they're making in India, so they're seeing a cost savings there. Why does it cost that much for a pretty much unlined? Well, no, it's got a cotton liner, but I don't know. I mean, believe me, it's not because I have anything against Indian craftsmanship or anything like that. I mean, they can make great stuff. It's just, again, if they're seeing a cost savings from making it abroad, then why aren't they passing that on to us? I don't know. It's just one of those things that sort of, you're rolling along and then you hit a stop and you go, maybe not. So if this was $330, maybe. Anyway, that's from 316. So you got that. Now, one of my favorites, Ironheart. I can't stop talking about Ironheart. And I mean, like, you know, I've heard their stuff be accused as like a little bit too bland, a little bit too, you know, like void of character. And I could see that sort of, because they don't tend to use very, you know, their fabrics tend to be kind of plain, not like a lot of like super slubby stuff or anything that's really wild. And in a way, that's okay, because you don't want your whole outfit to be that way. You're gonna look like a whack job. So this one here is kind of cool, and I don't think I've ever seen one like this before. This one is the ultra heavy flannel vintage check work overshirt in greens. $400. Get that out of your system right now, okay? $400 for a work overshirt. But it's in green, which is my favorite color, and it is cut to be an overshirt. So it looks like it has a lot more room. They have a guy here wearing it over a hoodie, so it looks like you get just a little bit more space underneath this thing as you would with, you know, the Ironheart stuff runs really trim. Even their work shirts are like, you know, very, very trim. But their ultra heavy flannels are just some of the best around. So that's why I'm looking at this going, scratching my chin saying, you know, that's pretty nice. So it's probably cut a little bit more generously. It looks like it is, at least. When you look at this kind of back shot of it, it looks like it's cut pretty boxy, which is nice for an overshirt. And again, they have that really wonderful fabric that they use with their Aspero cotton, and you know, it's 12-ounce fabric. I love it. I love it. I love their stuff. This is a company that you could buy almost anything from and be assured that it's going to be some of the highest quality stuff that you've ever seen. In my opinion, Ironheart is one of the companies that is the bar to beat. The stuff that they make is really just, you know you're going to get a great product. And they don't seem to skimp on anything. I mean, you pay for it, but in this world of having better but less, that's where it's at. So that's a great one. And Ironheart actually sent an email today about not passing on the tariff thing. So they say what you see online is what you're gonna pay for it, all inclusive. If there are extra tariff stuff or whatever, they're gonna take care of it. I got a lot of respect for that. That's very cool. So $400 is $400. That's what you're gonna pay for this, and you're not gonna have an extra 20% or whatever on it because of a tariff. And I give Ironheart a lot of credit for doing that. Very cool. All right, to round it up today, we're going to talk about another one of my favorites, which is Dehen. Dehen. I'll get it one day. It's the Dehen 1920 Weekender jacket in Oregon plaid wool. Ooh, boy, is this a good looking... I mean, come on. I mean, I don't know if it's the way that guy's standing or whatever, but I get serious dad vibes from this, and in the best way, really. I mean, okay, so this plaid is very interesting because it's really kind of more of a color block, but I love the choice of colors that they've used here. This actually reminds me a lot of a Filson jacket that they had a while ago. If you remember correctly, they had I think it was a Jack shirt, right? So it was really more of a jacket than anything in military plaid, which was a color block, and it was gray, green, tan like this, and the combination was really, really sharp, and then they took it away from us. Damn it. And anyway, so this is very similar to that in all the best ways. I love the warm tones of this. It looks great. I have several Dehen products. They're all some of the best knitwear. I mean, I just love it. It's really just, they do a wonderful job. And they also have a two-way zipper on this, which I'm happy to see. It's a big chunky number 10. And so you get a lot of really good stuff here. It's lined as well. So this is lined in, what's it lined in? Let's take a look. The details. So this is 28-ounce Oregon plaid wool shell, which they accidentally spelled with one L. Worsted wool, 2x2 knit waistband and fold back cuffs. So wool there as well. Straight satin. Wait a minute. Straight satining. Oh boy. Yeah. Somebody who wrote this description has some explaining to do. So straight, I think it's a satin lining in the body and sleeves, covered two-way number 10 nickel zipper with zipper guard, under collar accent zigzag stitching, snap closure, welted hand warmer pockets, 100% wool, made in the USA, costs $575. A lot of money, but there's a lot of jacket there as well, made out of some of the best materials that you could find. So I really think this is a winner. Now, sometimes when I see stuff like this, I think, am I just crazy thinking that this looks cool? Is this gonna look super dated in a few years? You know, I mean, like, as you look at this guy wearing it and like the silhouette of the whole thing, it just kind of, and is it just the guy? I mean, maybe it's just the guy. He's looking that way. It's kind of like, you know, this is going to be like one of those things. You're like, oh, like, it looks like my grandpa's old jacket. I don't know, but I love it. I think they did a great job. Good job, Dehen. All right, that's it for this episode. Short and sweet, I guess, but we're going to go to the patrons only segment right now. If you're not a patron already, well, maybe think about joining up. You get free, you know, early access to the videos. They are ad free. And I just kind of try to do whatever I can. And so if you want to support the channel, if you want to support me and the other channel, all that good stuff, head over there. It's $3 a month and you can get that stuff. So anyway, for the rest of you, thank you so much. And we're going to continue now with the patrons only segment.